start with a quick introduction on our end just to start off first. So could all the coaches just use a emoji reaction on our end so the folks can kind of see who are some of the folks within UXGO? Yeah, so if everyone could just drop a quick reaction. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, so one thing, hopefully if you're a bit new to UXGO and this is like your first interaction with us, you'll get to see that we have a lot of coaches and committed mentors here to help you. So definitely after this call and we do the introductions, if there's someone who has an experience you're interested in, reach out. And then also if you feel comfortable, we'll encourage you to turn on your cameras just because it's good for sort of the coaches to meet their potential students or folks that might want to network and connect with them. If you don't feel comfortable, turn on your camera because it's being recorded and whatnot. That is totally fine. You can do so in the breakout rooms later when we do a mixer. So that's all for the introduction. Let's look at the agenda for today. So this meeting will be around, give or take, let's say an hour. I'll start us off with a icebreaker. I know it's pretty awkward to have these long Zoom calls without any interaction. So hopefully by participating in the icebreaker, everyone can warm up to each other first. And then we'll talk a little bit about like what being a UXGO member is like, what are the help you can get, how we can support you, what are some areas maybe you were interested in that I didn't cover that you would want to reach out to us to learn more about. We'll also talk a little bit about what is coming up, and then we'll do the mixer in between wrapping up the call. So before we wrap up, we'll pull everyone back in to say like a thank you and then some announcements for next steps. So starting off with the hello, just some quick history about UXGO. One thing I want all of us to be able to take away from today's call is UXGO is really different from a lot of organizations or companies, so to say, you might have heard before, either mentorship providers like ADP List or General Assembly, Springboard, these sort of boot camps. We're not a nameless, faceless organization. You can see, so up here we have Hannah, myself, and Jason. So we founded UXGO about 2 to 3 years ago now. At the time from last year, we've grew our team. We've worked with 2 other awesome coaches, Kirsten and Sheng, and we tested out a lot of different ways to help teach and mentor students throughout our own time because this was an area we were really passionate in. And we were really results and process driven since we're all in the field of UX ourselves. One more recent addition to our UXGO team this year is since we expanded so much and we had so many more students reach out to us, it wasn't really sustainable for us to keep it as in a purely unorganized fashion. So this year with our new website, our new Slack system, there was a lot more support from the tech side we needed. So I want to introduce everyone to Shawnari. Shawnari, if you want to quickly like wave your hands. I can't see you on my Zoom anymore because there's so many like little people. But yes, Shawnari is a guy. I think he was last wearing a UXGO hat that was blue. So, and you can also see him on his name here. So he's really awesome. A lot of you who've already shared your resume or portfolio may have gotten comments from him. Shawnari is really dedicated. He checks Slack, religiously. So if you ever run into an issue, I think some of you already may have talked to him if you had like something wrong with like your membership or you couldn't access certain like privileges. So Shawnari is always there for you. He also moderates our chat a lot. So if you ever feel like you have a question or if you have something that you're afraid to ask in a large setting, you can chat with him first. But of course, he also has a menacing side. So if you violate rules, he's probably going to be the one to put you in a little black box and kick you potentially. So that's Shawnari. I want to give him a big shout out. And he also organizes and updates all the meetings for us, such as creating this one. And then I want to give another huge shout out to the newest additions of our team. I think everyone is here today on this call. I might be mistaken. Maybe Michelle isn't here. Michelle is here too. Okay, so everyone should be here for this call. These are our newest members of the UXGO coach team. One thing really cool I want to highlight for all these coaches is they come from a variety of different backgrounds and they range of different experiences within the UX world. So you'll hear a little bit from Cynthia today, who is growing UXGO from the content design perspective. So a lot of you may not be familiar with content design or UX writing. So if that's something you're personally interested in learning more, Cynthia will be there for you. And then I want to emphasize on sort of the diverse experience these new coaches bring to UXGO, because on the freshest side, we have Michelle and Qingran, who are both somewhat new to the UX industry, but they've had a lot of internship experience. And since they're somewhat new, they really understand the actual experiences you are going through because they've just applied. They've done the interviews recently. They've all gotten a lot of offers at great companies. So if you feel like, you don't enjoy talking to someone who might be very old, out of touch, just know that's not how it's like at UXGO. Everything we teach, everything we show you, we all really believe in, and we're all very much engaged with the industry and the interview process and recruitment ourselves. And on our most senior side, we have Jyoti, who is super awesome. She's a principal designer at Meta, so we definitely also have the more senior experience side. If you want to learn more about how to grow your career further or how to plan long-term, we have great resources like that. On the UXR side, we also have Kristen, who's a senior designer at HighSpot. She is really experienced in UX research. We have Jason, who used to work at Google and Disney, recently moved roles as well, so very familiar with the UX research process nowadays. On the design side, we also have a lot more coaches that you'll get to meet hopefully today or eventually on our Slack. So we have myself, Hannah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. So before we get to meet everyone a lot more in person in the breakout rooms, let's do some trivia just so we can get to know a little bit more about you. So the rules are going to be a little bit different. I want you all to get the answers right. So whoever gets the answers wrong, I will call on you by name, and then I want you to do just a quick introduction about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your academic background, and tell us a little bit about what you are hoping to get out of UXGO. Any questions right now? Hopefully everyone feels comfortable participating and speaking. It will be really fun. So it's all UX trivia. It would be a great opportunity for you to flex some of your industry knowledge or academic knowledge. So the way the trivia works, I'm using this new plugin for Zoom called Poly. Let me know if anyone is unable to join. So check the chat. I will be sending a link in just a moment. So see if all of you are able to see this. And if you're a coach, definitely participate as well, because it's interesting for me to see who knows the answers to these questions. Okay, let me try to copy it. Okay, it takes a while to copy, so sorry for the wait. But if all of you click on the link, you all should be able to participate. Please let me know, yell at me, give me some interaction, and if it doesn't work for you, I'll try to figure something out. So we will have 30 seconds of elevator music, and then we will come back to seeing who knows the answer. Oh, please write your name as well. I saw someone submitted. Oh, it's all anonymous. Oh, that's going to be a problem. See if you can write your name, if possible, so I know who got it right.
Yeah, it will ask you to enter in your name and email.
Yeah. So email is fine. Don't have to input email. Please enter your name. We will give 20 more seconds to answer, so try to put in your answers. Also, obviously, we'll have 3 rounds of trivia, and like obviously, don't Google them because there's no point in Googling it. It's just a fun little activity. Okay, I think everyone mostly locked their answers in. So Don Norman, our boy Don Norman, he wrote the really famous book called The Design of Everyday Things. You might have seen the book. It has a little weird vase on the cover. It's a really famous book, and I would recommend it as a great read for anyone a little bit newer to UX if you want to learn a little bit about the history. So a lot of people consider Don Norman to be the father of UX design for this reason. I don't think Don Norman invented the agile method of development, and I know a lot of you put it as anonymous. So whoever got it wrong, if you would please be willing to volunteer to just share a little bit about yourself, that would be awesome. So I think people I see Spencer, I see Ahmed. Let me know if I pronounce your name wrong. So Spencer and Ahmed, also Andrew and Ninray. Let me know if I pronounce that wrong too. And I see a few other anonymouses. So whoever wants to go first, just give me a quick introduction about yourself.
I can go first.
Awesome. Thank you, Spencer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Spencer Lee, and now I'm studying digital media at the University of Washington. I'm really excited to join the UXGO, and I think that I can really get the skills about my resume, portfolio, and interview. I really want to learn from the coaches, the mentors, and I really want to talk with the peers. And that's it.
Awesome. Okay, who else following Spencer?
I can go.
Awesome.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Ahmed, and I'm a student studying graphic design right now at UW Milwaukee in Wisconsin. And later on, I'm thinking about doing my master's in human-computer interactions at DePaul. And I just wanted to know about UXGO, a little bit of more, what you do specifically, how to interact with people, with coaches and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we'll do one more. So whoever got that first question wrong, if we can have one more brave volunteer.
I think I'll go.
Okay.
Hi. My name is Nirnoy. I've joined UXGO because I really like the services provided. I think it's a great opportunity to network. I talk more in depth about UXGO with Jason Lee actually, and I mean, he completely convinced me for joining, and I really like the mission for UXGO. I think it's a great platform to again, network with people. I graduated from Queens College, and so I want to take this time that I have now to learn more about this field in hopes that, I can enter the field with a lot to work with.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. And then for Ahmad, we will cover those in today's slides in depth. But if you ever have any more questions, we can follow up later. So here's the second question. Let's all try to put your names this time. Oh, it's very entertaining for me to see who's getting it wrong.
It's a new link in the chat.
It's a new link in the chat, yeah, seen it. I just sent it. Yeah, if any of you went to school at UW in the HCD department, I think you all should be able to get this question right because I think it's in one of the courses, like it's mandatory reading. So yeah, the UW people might have a slight advantage if you taken the class. Hannah, do you know which class I'm talking about? Do you know what the class code is? Do you still remember?
I remember it's kind of like 308, 548.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think 2 more folks need to put it in. Yeah, remember to put down your names. Okay, I think almost everyone has put it. Jody, did you have the chance to do it? Were you one of the anonymouses?
No, I think I put my name in there too.
Okay. I think you're the only one I didn't see, but that's okay. Do you know the answer? I think you're on mute.
I think
yeah,
so.
Yeah. What do you think is the answer?
I thought it was Xerox. Like they started it.
Yes. Very, very, very great. Very great. Yeah.
Still proud.
Yeah. And I assume, Jason, you're the only one who put Jason Lee from Mythical Games. I assume. Yeah, that's a troll one. So Jason definitely wasn't alive at the time when GUI were being invented. So yeah, the correct answer is the Douglas. That's most widely considered. If you put Steve Jobs' Apple, you're somewhat correct because like they didn't patent anything. So later on, Apple learned a lot from them. They took their mouse, a lot of their GUI interaction patterns. But most would consider Douglas to be sort of the founder of the mouse and the modern day GUI interaction system. I think this was in 1960s, something like that. My design history isn't that up to date. So considering that whoever put Microsoft and Bill Gates, since a lot of people got this question wrong, by the way, 8 people got this right. So congrats on everyone who got it right. So let's start with the Microsoft people. I will call you out. Kyle, let's start with you. You put Microsoft. So Kyle, could you give us an introduction?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a New York University graduate, and I studied design and media. I wanted to join UXGO because I thought it was a great opportunity. Leon reaching out to me, and I did research on the company page, and I thought that, again, as someone said before, that it provided great resources, a great source of networking, and a great opportunity for someone new into UX like me to get their foot in the door.
Awesome. And Yuhan, could you follow up? You also put Microsoft.
Hi everyone, I'm Yuhan. I'm currently studying information management, focusing on UX at the University of Washington. And I joined UXGO because I want to learn more about UX research from professionals in the field and also meet new people and learn from each other.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then Shanri, I'm surprised you got this question wrong because I would be certain you would get it right. Why did you, what kind of tricked you to get it wrong?
Because I thought Xerox only did printers.
Oh, I see. Yes, they were, yeah, I'm surprised they fell out of, the world of tech so fast since considering what they were doing back then. Okay, we'll do last question, last round. So everyone, you still have, and if you want to do an introduction, you could intentionally get the question wrong too. But let me get to the last question. Okay, this one is a fun one. So give me 1 second to pull it up for you all. Okay, someone please let me know if the link is for the new question. So the question is, one company used to be called Backscratch. I made a typo, so Backscratch. Oh, this is a rough one. No one has gotten it right so far, is what I'll say. Also, yeah, just to double emphasize, I typed it wrong. It's back scratch, not back stretch, but equally as weird. Alright, I guess after this one, no, this one doesn't have anything to do with UX. This is just like very odd trivia knowledge in the tech industry. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up we have 16 answers by now. All right, I'll give like 1 or 2 last seconds to put it in if you haven't. So to participate, you just go in chat and you open it up. Okay, we had a good amount of answers. Everyone put their names too, so awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think you guys can see my screen, but unfortunately, no one got it right. The correct answer is Google. So I don't know if this shows the results, but yes, no one got it right. So no shame in getting it wrong, unless you all intentionally got it. Unless you all intentionally got it wrong to do an introduction. But a little bit of history, it's called back scratch because Google used to do like SEO stuff. So Yahoo was a little bit close. This is a really hard one. So let me just take some volunteers. Let's take 3. Who would like to just quickly share a little bit about themselves? And if you're a coach, you can go too. I guess volunteering is always hard in a big group. Okay, Vanessa, I'll pick on you since I saw your camera open. So Vanessa, how about you give an introduction?
Yeah, sure. I'm Vanessa. I graduated from UCLA with the computer science degree, and then I switched into product design. So right now I'm doing like a boot camp, and I'm trying to aim for like the larger tech companies, which is why I joined UXGO, because I saw like you guys specialize in like helping prepare for like tech companies and stuff. And I also saw that maybe it's like a good way to like network and everything. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And then Andrew, I will pick on you. So Andrew's a UXGO alumni, but it's great seeing you here. So Andrew, if you could share a little bit too.
Yeah, of course. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to be here. My name is Andrew. I'm currently a UX design and research apprentice at Amazon. And before that, I did certification and then through Coursera, and then I transitioned into UX research after that. So pretty cool to have that. And yeah, I guess one cool fact is I like to game. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, we'll move on since trivia and introductions get boring. But Vanessa, I wanted to call on Andrew after your intro because Andrew, a little bit similar to you, was doing like a little bit of a transition, joined UX from a very, I would say somewhat unconventional route, worked at Amazon over the summer, worked with Jason, Kirsten, and me to help with his interviews. So yeah, for all of you here, with some of the introductions, one thing I wanted all of you to take away from is UX is very different from other disciplines, right? It's not about doing all the coding practices. It's not about doing like the same thing everyone else is doing. Everyone in UX is very unique. That's why we have a lot of different coaches and why we really emphasize on getting like tailored and customized support because depending on what your experiences are at, what your own goals are, what your own strength and areas of improvement are, sort of the support and track you need is very different. So a big thing we'll talk about today is like goal setting individually, right? You need to have a very strong goal that can be long-term and then broken into smaller milestones for you to sort of achieve the milestones and the long-term goal. So talking a little bit more on like what all that means and going back to, I think, Ahmed's earlier question, for those of you who are not too familiar with UXGO or haven't worked with one of our coaches before, what is UXGO and what does being a member really mean, right? So a lot of you talk about enjoying our mission or like our mission statement. So once again, I wouldn't really consider us a company. We're more like a kind of like a passion committed organization. So unlike other boot camps or larger companies, our mission is really tailored to helping each one of you on an individual and personal level. So that's why we consider ourselves a membership circle or an exclusive design community where us, the industry experts, so to say, will help you either break into UX industry for the first time or advance your career goals. So we will teach you like foundational UX things if needed, but really much we're focused on advancing what you already know. So it's very good for you to come in with some existing experience. So we have three main areas of teaching and coaching. UX design, I think everyone is quite familiar with. So we won't cover like what UX design has, since I would assume most of you are interested in UX design. So let's start off by just hearing a little bit more about UX research from Jason.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Jason, and me and Kirsten are kind of leading the UX research side. I think most of you might have heard of UX research, but I won't go through like a Google definition of UX research. You guys can probably find that. But if you're interested in, data, working with like the users, talking with users, if you're really data driven, then you should definitely check out UX research. But currently, Kirsten and I, since we're like a 2-people team, we are currently helping everyone with we're offering career coaching, resume, portfolio, interview prep. This is kind of like our main areas of focus. But definitely, if you have any questions about UX research, feel free to reach out. And Kirsten, do you have anything you want to add? I think I covered most of the stuff that we offer.
Yeah, no, I think you covered it.
Awesome. And then just one, so we heard a little bit about Andrew. Jason, do you want to give a little bit of summary of what you worked on with Andrew and how you and Kirsten were able to help Andrew advance his career in the UX research side?
Yeah, so I guess a little bit background. So Andrew kind of reached out to us. Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a little bit of time, but I think you reached out to us through LinkedIn. And I think you had an interview with Amazon, and there was like a couple of different rounds. So you needed some help with like interview prep. So that's how the conversation started. And then at the time, Kirsten and I helped him. Actually, Leon helped too with some of the design side, because it's like a design and research apprenticeship. So we helped him with like the portfolio prep, interview prep with like behavioral types of like interview questions. And then, he was able to get that offer. I think this whole like turnaround, it was like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But we were able to help him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one thing we are able to sort of offer that a lot of, I would say, other resources anywhere just aren't able to do is, since all of our coaches are all working full-time in our respective companies, from like a junior to a lead principal level, we have sort of interview experience on both sides of the table, so we can give you very in-depth insights on how to prepare. Since we've worked with so many students, like last year, we've helped almost 20 students get UX offers at Amazon from internship to new grad levels. Shang isn't here today, I believe, but we're really familiar with the process. We're really good connections with a lot of the interviewers themselves. We always make question banks. Some of you who read my articles on Medium know I put together like guides, structures like those. So depending on your specific company, let's say if you're going to interview with Google, then even if it's for UX design interview, it might be really beneficial for you to chat with Kirsten or Jason for someone who's done internships or new grad at the company, right? Even though the interview changes a little bit year from year, I had 2 students of mine work at Google last year as an internship. So the process changes a little bit year from year. So last year they didn't do a design scenario. They switch it with the whiteboarding. So it's going to be really important that you sort of do the prep with someone who knows what's going on, and you don't rely on old information you find on the web. because a lot of students sort of, so I have my old work on my website. So a lot of students look at my old work to prep for their design scenarios at Google, but they didn't even do that last year. So they sort of prepped for the wrong thing. So make sure you're always in the know and you talk with people, right? The power, we always say, is in your hands. So reach out to the people that you think will be capable to help you, and we're all here to support you, right? So moving on a little bit to the content design side, this is our newest area we are hoping to both raise awareness in, because I think content design and UX writing will be what most of you are the least familiar with. A lot of companies are, however, growing and expanding into this discipline, which means they're recruiting more content and UX designers. So let's hear from Sinya, who is currently a content designer at Expedia and is one of my ex-coworkers at Expedia as well. So Sinya, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Leon, for the intro. My name is Sinya. I'm currently a content designer at Expedia. And so because content design is really part of the design process, and it's very much embedded in our design thinking process.
Sinya, sorry, I muted you because something's wrong with your mic. You sound a bit robotic. Do you want to try again?
Oh.
I think it might be with your AirPods.
Okay, that happens a lot at work this week.
What about right now? Can you hear me?
That's good. Yeah. You almost exposed yourself for being not an actual human, but yes, it works now. It's normal human voice.
All right. So yeah, thanks for your intro again. So because content design is really part of the design process, the recruiting process for content design works about the same as UX design and research. So what I can help you with is to give feedback to your resume and help you polish the projects in portfolio and sharpen the storytelling. And for a content designer's portfolio, storytelling and being able to communicate concisely and clearly is everything. And I can also help prepare for your interviews, especially for portfolio presentations, because I think it's all about using your personal voice to tell the story. And if you're not interested in content design, that's okay. If you're aiming to pursue UX design or researcher as your career path, I can help you with your storytelling skill or how to find your voice in your personal branding or recruiting process. Just ping me if you're interested in that area too. Some of you might ask me, like, what is content design? So let me do a quick intro. So looking at the two wireframes to the right, do you know where to find the orders on Amazon here? Feel free to let me know your answer. And on LinkedIn, where would you start looking at your recent job posting? Just by looking at the wireframes here. I guess no one will have an answer. So without content, there's no such a thing as experience. These are just empty boxes. Can you go to the next slide, please? So yeah, the official definition of content design by the author of the book, Content Design, is that content design is using evidence and data to produce content your audience needs at the time they need it, on the channel they're on, and in a way they expect. So in short, is basically designing the digital experience or product from a content perspective. And the book was published in 2019, and the discipline was growing rapidly ever since in both big tech company and smaller tech company as well. And some of the small to mid-sized companies are also hiring their first content designers to their UX team. And as of yesterday, when we made this slide, there are more than 7,000 content design job openings on LinkedIn from junior level to senior. And there are plenty of resources, meetups, and courses out there. They teach people how to do the content design job, the real work. but none of them really offer personalized mentorship to kind of go through the recruiting process like we offer at UXGO. So if you're interested in content design or know a friend who is interested, send them my way. I'm always happy to chat and share my experience. And if you're interested in storytelling also, let me know and we can chat.
Awesome. Yeah, so a lot of companies think about just how much like content matters, right? Like Bill, just wrapping up what Sinya said. So when we were working together at Expedia, we were working on the Maps products. So Maps, doesn't even sound like it needs as much copy or text, right? Because it's very visual. But to make the users know instinctively where to go, what to click, what to do, the copy matters a lot, right? And content designers put a lot of thought in every little detail. So if you're a really detail-driven person, even if you're not, let's say, like English isn't your first language, so to say, don't just shut content design outside the door. There's a lot of opportunity to do so. And even knowing like a different language might help you with your career because, right, in content design, when you think about localization, different languages like German, I think is the longest, right? So there's a lot of thought to be put in. It's a lot more than just UX writing or copy editing the work of the designer. So thanks for the intro, Sunya. So going a little bit more into what is in your membership. So we have a lot of alumni on our Slack, and then you're meeting some of each other today. We'll do a virtual mixer in a bit. So Slack, we really recommend is your best place to start. In fact, just to quickly do a 1-minute activity, if all of you are still present within your desktops, just go to general, quickly type hello or type something about yourself, type a fun fact, so people know that, like this is a place where you can talk, you can interact, and we encourage you to send like updates, messages, fun facts, things like that. So if you're not on our Slack yet, this is the best time for you to join our Slack by getting a membership. All of you should be members, so just sign in with your profile. You'll be able to join Slack by clicking on the Slack icon. So Slack is your best place to start. Hope everyone has had time to send a quick hello or something in general so the coaches know who's who and who's participating in today's kickoff. And one thing we will talk about a little bit more in depth today is on the advanced coaching. So building a connection with your coaches through on Slack or through just everyday connections and chatting will be really important because the way we're set up, if you want those more advanced one-on-one support, it's on an application basis. And we always give our coaches the ability to mutual select because that's something we believe in a lot, right? We have a really, really high offer rate for all the students we've helped. Last year, we helped over 25 students. All 22 of them have gotten offers at really good companies, either big tech or startups they actively wanted to pursue. And the other 3 are right now going through interview process. So we're able to get this high success rate because, right, it's in-depth connection making. The coaches work with students they believe they can best support, and the students pick the coaches they trust and believe in the most. So engaging on Slack will be really, really important. So don't just send your portfolio and resume and never check back again, because a lot of times other students may have questions that you can answer with your own experiences. And one thing that's really cool we've seen on Slack in some of our channels that we really recommend you checking out. So we have a lot of students who are Chinese or international. We have separate international channels set up. So if you have like visa sponsorship questions, if you have questions specific to that you feel like a coach who speaks Chinese may be able to help you more, we have the Huarun channel set up, right? So that's when you can search up and join or have one of our coaches invite you. And then the other super popular one is, of course, a portfolio resume one. So definitely check out other students' work as well, because you might realize a lot of the comments applies to you, and it could give you some idea on what level you are at compared to other folks. So try to take advantage of the Slack beyond what you may be just doing right now. So then we go into our live classes and workshops. So depending on our scale and how many members we have. So this is our initial kickoff. One thing about us is we don't really do as much marketing. We're very much a small organization, a small team. So we mostly rely on like word to word or friend referring. So that's why we really care about our brand and helping people reach their goals, right? Because this isn't really for us to scale in the way that we want the most members possible. We want to make sure people who are a member get the help they need. So that's why we set up live classes always, right? We could do recorded content very easily, which is what most like mentorship or boot camps try to do. They do large recorded classes as panels or recorded content. But for us, we always keep it live. So that's why we really recommend you to try to engage with us in real time, because that's the purpose of having it live. So we will always have 1 to 2 classes a week. They could be workshops or classes like these. So classes are very lecture focused, while workshops will be more small group focused. So tomorrow we will have a resume workshop, which I highly encourage everyone who is present here today to join. And if you're watching the recording, I will also recommend you to join, because that's the best time for you to get live feedback, right? So bring your resumes for that tomorrow, polish it today if you need to. We will also have office hours. So later on, we'll talk about like what a one-on-one is, like who is ready for advanced coaching. So one-on-one and all those things we generally reserve for more advanced coaching, because like I said, all our coaches have a very sort of tight deadlines they have to work with. So we ask every coach to only work with 4 to 5 students at a time, because all of us are working full-time and we have our own lives going on too. So we generally reserve those for more advanced students, so to say. So if you're a little bit newer and you're not sure how to make those one-on-one connections, keep attending all these live classes, workshops that are present every week. So there's a lot of content for you to learn. And then the office hours, which we'll have bi-weekly, so we will have it next week, would be a great time for you to drop in for any personal question, whether it's interview, whatever, all those will be available. So join us for the resume workshop tomorrow. Shawnee will set up the invite right after today's call. So you'll see the Zoom link and all of you will be invited. So like today, you will be joining and you will be working with Qingyan, me, and Xinye on helping you with your resume tomorrow. And then our bi-weekly office hours. So this is from our last office hour before our initial launch. So a lot of if you pay attention to our Slack, you'll know in the coming month, a lot of students will be joining because recruitment season is starting to warm up. So we expect us to even go up to 300 or 500 members before we cap it up, right? So office hours will get more and more packed, and coaches will get more and more students. So try to go these as soon as possible. And these can even be just for any personal question you have, like how should I set my career goal? Like this is my experience right now. What can I do? What's available for me? What are the roles I should look at, right? What are some strategies for my personal branding? Of course, you can also use these as just a personal resume prep, right? So you can think of it as a one-on-one session. So I'm not sure if Mona is with us here today, but Mona is actually an alumni of us. So she worked with us last year, got a lot of interviews, but she's still dropping in for these sessions because they're really helpful, right? So always check out the office hours if you have time. And they are usually on Fridays, while the courses or workshops on our Saturdays and Sundays. So one area, just to clarify a little bit more on, is like, how do we sort of define advanced coaching and advanced teaching, right? So there's 3 categories we call advanced coaching. One is one-on-one coaching from the coach of your choice. So this is something you can select. Depending on how popular the coach is, there may be a wait list. So if you need more urgent help, we'll always work with the coaches to see if we can schedule in shortly, because we know sometimes the interviews pop up really quickly, right? Some of you may be doing interviews with Amazon or some other companies the following weeks. So I know some of you already talked with a few coaches on that. So that's always something we can arrange for you. We also have specialized courses, which I know Spencer and a few of you other folks have talked to me about, whether it's portfolio or case study. So we'll give a high-level summary on some of these classes, what they'll be like. So we don't always offer them publicly, because we keep them as small classes with just 2 to 3 folks usually, and we try to match up people with similar experience. So if you're trying to join a specialized course, reach out to us, let us know you have the interest, and we'll evaluate what your experience is at and what's going to fit you, right? Because just from your experience, if you're someone who has a lot of design experience. You probably don't want to pair up with someone who is just starting UX on a case study, right? So here are just some examples of what our one-on-one coaching sessions could be like. So 2 examples from me. This is all from the last week. So on one side, we're working on a specific interview prep with one of the students. And then if you speak a language that's not English, such as Chinese or a different one that you prefer, you can work with a coach that speaks your mother language or your preferred language. But we usually always keep the sessions majority in English to help you do your mocks, right? Because your mocks are going to be in English anyways. But you can always work with a coach that you feel the most comfortable with. And on the other side here, we have me working with Victoria, who is a long-term student of mine, and Hannah. So we're working on how to structure a case study here. So she has all the work she's done, but she's not sure how to do the storytelling. So we're working on FigJam together to do that. So the one-on-one sessions are really flexible. Just let your coach know ahead of time what you want to do. If you're curious to learn more about what these one-on-one sessions are like, I can share some recordings with you just so you get a better feel of it. And here is an example of what an advanced course would be like. So the main difference between a course and a one-on-one is the courses are more long-term. These courses are structured by the coaches themselves. So the coaches will give you a strict to-do list, so to say, and a course is generally made by 2 or 3 coaches together. So the one-on-one is between you and one coach, while the courses are the coaches work as a team to make sure you get all the support you needed, right? So this may be, I may be leading the course, but I may be asking Xinye or Qingyan to assist you at the steps where they can give you the most support. So for the portfolio course we're doing, so we're actually starting one this Sunday. So it might be too late for you to join that one, but there will be future courses available depending on your interest. So if you're interested in starting one of those, let the coaches know. And the prices for these do vary because depending on how many classes there is, things like that. So these are highly customized, they vary. So here you can see we're setting up a full case study and portfolio course on the side. And this usually spans between 5 to 8 weeks. Yvette, I'm not sure if you're still with us on the call today, but Yvette is another past student I've worked with for a very long time. So Yvette, if you're still here, maybe you can turn on your camera and quickly say hi. So Yvette, actually,
hello everyone.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, so Yvette, you can put a little emoji or something. So Yvette, I'm going to share a little bit about your work. Hopefully that's okay with you. So Yvette is a UXGO alumni. She was really new to, even coming to the US. So she used to study in China. She did her undergrad at one of the top art schools in China, but then she's fairly new to job hunting in America. So she reached out to me after reading my articles on Medium. We worked on interview prep for a few different companies. But at the time, one of the biggest things Yvette needed to improve on was she didn't have a portfolio and she didn't have a case study. So we worked on a case study together called Google Meets Redesign. I'll share a little bit more about this case study in the link today if anyone wants to learn a bit more. Yvette, if you're comfortable, could you drop your portfolio link just in the chat so people can check out your portfolio if they want to. So we worked on the case study for 8 months. Yvette worked with 2 other students, and Yvette is currently working at Apple right now. So a very, very successful sort of growth in a short amount of time. And Yvette, just again, everyone here at UXGO is really proud of you. So yeah, please share your portfolio link in the chat. So last year, with all our one-on-ones and customized courses and everything, like I said, we've had 22 students able to get offers. So everything that we've just talked about in the advanced sessions are all based on appointments and bookings only. So everything else before this, all this live resource, this is all for you to drop in freely, and we recommend you attending to work on. But when you're ready, we have all these available for you. All of these will have additional charges just because depending on what you need exactly, the time commitment from the coaches and the resources we need to make sure you succeed will also be different. So if you're interested in learning more about either how much they're priced separately from your membership or what is available for me at the moment, definitely let us know. And if you have an interview that you need us to help you prep, make sure you try to let us know as soon as possible what the dates are. what do you need help with, what do you already have, so we can plan those out for you immediately. So with that said, if you see anyone with the UXGO alumni title, whether it's Andrew or Yvette or anyone who you've met today or on Slack, you can all talk to them. So anyone with the alumni title has done the advanced classes with us, so they're very familiar with what that process will be like. So with that said, we have about 10 minutes to do a little virtual mixer in small groups. So you guys can share a little bit more about yourselves, ask the coaches questions. I'll set up the breakout room so there's at least one coach per breakout room. So talk with them in the small groups, ask them questions about what I shared. If there's any bigger questions for me, bring them back, and then we'll wrap up with an outro. So I will set up the breakout rooms right now. Any questions so far about anything I've shared?
I have one quick thing to add. So I know there's an office hour tomorrow for Resume, but Kirsten and I are also hosting one this Thursday. We'll probably send out the times. If you're interested in like UXR, we'll probably have one this Thursday.
Okay, I'm gonna stop share screen. Thanks for sharing that, Jason. Yeah, and I think it'll be beneficial for you to go to both if you would like, right? Because you can get feedback from us, learn a little bit, and then get more feedback. So I'm gonna set up the rooms like this. I will set up one called UXR. So if you're super focused on UXR, actually no, I'll set it up so just so I'll have one where you would consider yourself like new, less like so one will be called new to UX. So that in this breakout room, if you feel like you have less than 2 years of experience and you're a little bit newer to UX, please join that room. I have one where I will call international. So for this breakout room, if you feel like you have more sort of topics on either like work visa, whether you're from like Canada or from international from China, you can join that one. I'll make sure a few of the coaches there also speak Chinese if you prefer Mandarin. I will have one we're called like interview upcoming. So if you know you already have an interview upcoming, please join that one. And then for room 4, I will call Leon will be there. So if you have any question you're more curious for me specifically, please join that one. So I'm gonna open all the rooms now. So there will be 4 rooms. Jason, and could you go to the room for new to UX? You can host in there. And then Qingran, Xinia, and Hannah, could you 3 go to the international one? Michelle, Jody, you guys can go to either interview upcoming or new to UX, whatever you prefer. And then Shawnari, you can go to the Leon will be there one. So I'll move across some different breakout rooms. And I think that covers all the coaches. If I didn't say any name for the coaches, please just go to whichever room you prefer. So if you're a student, just feel free to join the room applicable to you. Are the rooms open, by the way? Are you guys able to join? Because it looks like it's not working. Is it on assigning only? Crap. I'm really bad with using Zoom, so I guess it will be, has to be assigned. Shawnri, do you know?
What do you mean has to be assigned?
Do I have to assign folks to a breakout room since it seems like you guys are unable to join?
Yeah, why don't we try that? There should be a automatically generate the rooms sort of deal, but
let me do that again. Okay, I think, how about now? Let me do this. Okay, how about now? Are you all free to join? Yes, I see the nodding heads. Okay, yeah, so 4 rooms. Go to the room you are most interested to be at.
Recording in progress.
my Zoom just my Zoom just crashed for whatever reason. That was a little bit awkward.
My name is Rohan, and I'm currently a grad student at Indiana University, Bloomington, and I'm studying MS in HCI. So I'm kind of curious to explore two different paths. I do have some background in product design, and I also want to explore product management. So I sort of applying to both roles. I feel like design for me is relatively a little bit more easier to get interviews for compared to PM. But I'm sort of maxing out as in terms of the kind of companies that I can get into. For me, I feel like I want to get into maybe tier one, FANGs, for example, or something equivalent. And that's something I really have difficulty getting into. So I would want to discuss what could we do for that? How can I improve my overall profile and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great share, Rohan. So I'll share my 2 cents, and then Chandra, I'm going to hop around to monitor the different rooms. So I think the first thing is, I think it's good to have that long-term goal, but it comes down to breaking it down into smaller milestones, right? Because let's say if I set my goal to be if I was you, I set my goal to work at FANG. If I don't know what are the smaller milestones, like you said, leading up to it, then it's very easy to get frustrated, right? Because if you don't, let's say for some whatever reason, you don't reach your goal, if you have milestones set up, you can see is it because I didn't reach a specific milestone, right? Because there is a little bit of luck involved in recruitment, of course. So I want you to know that you want to make sure everything that's not based on luck, you make sure you do the best job possible, right? You want to make sure you absolutely kick ass. If they want to interview you, right? If they don't pick you, you don't want it to feel like that's something I didn't do well enough, right? So I think a few concrete things you want to look at is what did you do over the summer, right? What's your most recent experience? These are some things you can chat a little bit with Shanri about as I hop rooms, but really think about where are you at currently? If I want to reach this, let's say, is it because I need to get more interviews, right? Am I not getting interviews, or am I just not getting the offers in the interviews? Am I trying to do more networking? Am I not getting opportunities, right? You want to really, some of these questions, we obviously won't know, right? Unless you tell us. So when we talk about customizing or doing one-on-ones or helping you on Slack, we need to make sure that you really understand yourself first, right? Sometimes I help with students, they book, especially for me, right? Because I've had probably the most experience coaching students here at UXGO. My sessions are quite expensive, I would say. Usually it's about $90 to $100 for an hour. And then these students, they come up to me, they book the sessions with me. And then when I ask them about these things, they don't even know, right? Which, isn't not okay. But at the end of the day, you need to be really aware of yourself before you can ask for the best help possible. So if you need a little bit more help with discovering yourself or with your resume, you can definitely join our session tomorrow. I think that will be really helpful to you. So joining tomorrow's session, we can take a look at your resume, see what are some of your strengths and areas to improve. And then depending on, where you're at and what your goals are, what you feel comfortable with, we can talk about the next steps. And of course, doing the one-on-ones isn't the only way to succeed. Maybe for some students, they just need a little bit of clarity on what I need to get done. We have some students that are super capable. If you look at their resume and portfolios, they have a strong history of internships, of portfolio work, of academic. And then when they still want to book one-on-ones, of course, we're happy to help them, but not everyone necessarily needs it, right? So the advanced thing, we call it advanced, but it doesn't mean you have to do it to succeed. It's just because all the coaches have limited time. So we're already putting a lot of time for all our members generally. So you could succeed very much just being a member, but try to really understand what you need to reach those goals. Okay. I'm going to hop around. Yeah. You can chat a little bit more with Shanri if needed, but I'll hop around to the different rooms and we will have a few more minutes before we close. So nice meeting you, Rohan.
Nice meeting you. Yeah.
Yeah. We probably have like a big workshop with, the majority that wants to do that. But if you have something you're super interested in, you can always reach out to us for like a one-on-one, or we can host like another smaller session.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think Kirsten had to go, but yeah, she linked her LinkedIn. And if anyone
are a couple of reasons. So I'm here to advocate time as a resource and learning from everyone, because I feel like, especially in the design industry, mentorship has been a huge part of the journey. So like I have been helping a couple of my friends and classmates to like bulking up interview and polishing portfolios for like entry-level job hunting, and I realized there are definitely more people out, so I can offer my help as well. So that's the reason I'm here. If you want to learn more about Expedia or like my past B2B and B2C experience, feel free to reach out. And what fashion I choose if not in the UX industry? So I guess this could be a hard question because I would choose not to work if that question is not cheating. So, yeah. Okay. For the popcorn next one, I will choose Shifei.
Thanks, Xian. Hi, everyone. I'm Shifei. I'm currently a second year master student at University of Washington, and I also based in Seattle. I feel like this is like a Seattle breakout room, but whatever. So the reason why I'm here is that I want to be more connected to the UX community, I guess, and also, of course, get some suggestions and tips on the resume and portfolios, and just like not being alone in this job hunting. And so if I'm not in the US industry, I might become an artist if I have enough money. I mean, because I have the habit of drawing illustration for like many years, and I pretty like that. All right, I'm gonna pop over to Yuhan.
Hey, let me just weigh in really quickly. Hey, it's really awesome hearing everyone's introduction. 但是这个不是我以为大家都会讲中文嘛？怎么大家都讲英文？ So if you guys want to speak Chinese, 大家可以讲中文。我们有很多就是华人学生，然后你们如果谁还没有加那个华人的 channel, definitely join. So 你们上课或者进 workshop 或者 office hour 的时候，一般就是说我们帮中国学生的时候，如果有外国学生在 ，so Spencer 你上次在 office hour 你应该有感觉到，就是说如果有只说英文的同学在，我们 be respectful， 我们肯定用英文。但是如果大家都讲中文的时候，因为我们老师中文都挺好的，我可能是中文最差的。But you guys can speak Chinese if you want. So I'll just say that and I will hop around and then we will go back to the group in one more minute. So it was really nice hearing everyone's intro.
Graduating and going to the industry, I worked at like Disney Plus, media related, went to Google. I worked at Google TV, so that was also media, but now I'm in more of a video game industry. And within UX, it's not just about the role, like the things you do, but it also matters with like the type of product you work on. So if you're ever curious, like if you want to work in the car industry, we have, I think is Michelle.
Some cost to get that content tailored.
Yeah, I think that helps. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we will be closing breakout rooms now, so let me broadcast a message. What time zone are you two based off of?
Eastern.
Awesome. Okay, closing all rooms now.
Recording in progress.
Hey, can everyone still hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. I think the Hannah's room is still like popping off with some discussions. They did when I went over, everyone was doing an introduction, and it was really funny because for their room, I wanted to make sure that people who weren't comfortable speaking English had a chance to meet with people who spoke Chinese, but everyone's speaking English. And then I went and started speaking Chinese. But yeah, it's great. So whenever we have classes, large groups, we always do English first. But if it's a small group and people speak whatever language they prefer, Spanish, Chinese, it's cool for us to accommodate in your local language. So I think everyone should be back now. I know we lost a few people. But thanks for staying. Hopefully you all got to connect a little bit about who you are, your names, questions. Let's keep the discussion going on Slack if you want to chat it a bit more. And then make sure tomorrow, if you want to start working on a resume, get yourself ready for industry. Tomorrow is the class to go to. So just some summary of what is coming up. Most of our coaches are based in Seattle currently. So we have Michelle, who is in California, but most of us coaches are based in Seattle. So a lot of our coaches are like UW alumni. Over half graduated from different programs at UW. So between like interaction design, myself, HCD, Hannah, I think Kirsten dropped, but Kirsten was info, I believe. So all the popular sort of UX tracks at UW, we're all really familiar with. So we're hosting an event at UW. If you're close to the Seattle area, this is an event you should check out. It is free for all students to join, and most of our coach team will be there. So just a little bit more about this event. This will be in person. We'll be doing raffling, food. It's going to be a mix between industry, professional event with like guest panel, networking, Q&A. So if you want to meet other students or meet other members, and we have a members only social that night. So we booked out this venue called Santos below. So we booked it out for a few hours. If you're, of course, I think everyone here should be over 21. So there'll be alcohol catering. Just make sure you bring your ID if you go to the members only social. Of course, we are an organization that's not just based in Seattle, right? So we have events coming up all over in November. So 2 more events. If you're from Canada, we are having our event at Emily Carr, which is a really nice design school there. And we're having an event in RISD. So if you're based in the East Coast, you're close to either New York, Boston, or Rhode Island, you can check out our potential event at RISD. So both of these events, we haven't finalized the dates yet, but they will all be before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is generally the time you need to have all your applications ready, right? So that's why we're having all these events before Thanksgiving. But if you want to meet us in person, learn more, definitely keep your eye out on Slack for the announcements at an event near you. And then there's a lot more, right? If you, so all of you are mostly new to UXGO other than our alumni. So our alumni, you might have gotten some shirts or merch from us when you met us in person, or took some pictures with us when, we celebrated when you got your offers. So we have a lot more new designs for shirts and merch coming up. If you're interested in some, we do raffles occasionally, but we always give these away or sell them at our in-person events. So if you want to meet us at UW in the upcoming October 8th, You can get some of our newest design merch as well. And then of course we do have social media. So we have a 小红书, so that's like a one that Chinese folks use. It's similar to Instagram. If you want to follow us on that, we post some UX related things. Someone else manages it for us, so I'll say that. And then we have our Instagram. We keep it updated. We generally post a little bit more about like the day-to-day lives of being, within the UX industry. And then for our more professional things, we post on our LinkedIn. So make sure to follow us on all three if you would like. And then finally, I just want to wrap up by saying, once again, we are just a group of folks that really love UX, right? So we're not a nameless, faceless organization. All of us are really committed to help you because this is what we're passionate in, right? Like we're excited to help mentor and coach you. So just to put things a little bit into perspective, a lot of you join UXGO either with discounts, promos, etc. But your membership fee really just helps to keep us running. We're not really making any profit off of you being a member. I was chatting with some of our coach team other day, and your membership costs less than 2 boba teas. So it's not really something that we're trying to make profit off of you. We were all students not so long ago, so we did the subscription method because we want to help you succeed in the way that works the best for your own time, right? And another student reached out to me the other day saying like, oh, after 3 months, could I maybe get a promo or a discount code again? And I responded to the student saying like, the goal we want to have for you is not for you to be a member forever, right? Like we want you to get your job and break into UX. So that's the goal I want all of you to think about, right? Like right now as a member, try to make your time count, right? Not just for making the most out of the membership, but your time is really valuable whether you already notice it or not. And then once you get your offers, and like most of our students are really well connected with us. So Andrew, Yvette, and a lot of other alumni, we give them the lifetime membership after they've sort of reached their career goals, so we can continue supporting them in their future careers when they move companies or when they grow in their respective disciplines. And then we ask our alumni to help you, give you some feedback and thoughts after we've helped them, right? So it's very much giving back to each other. And one thing I want to emphasize again is because we are a small organization, a small group of coaches, all our coaches are working full-time. So I want all of us to remember it's a privilege for us as coaches to help dedicated and passionate students like all of you, but it's also a privilege for you to be part of UXGO, right? So being respectful, not just to our coaches, but to each other. When you give critique, when you give comments, we really encourage these things, but always think about being respectful because it's a privilege for you to be part of UXGO. So I want you to remember, respect the coach's time, right? When the coaches spend time with you, there are always other students asking them, like not just on UXGO, like on LinkedIn, all of us, we get tons of DMs every day, right? Whether they're asking us how to like move to our company, how to get referrals, there are all these things that's always happening in our lives. So when we're spending the time with you, that's because we really care about you and we really want to help you in whatever way we can. So just remember, it's a privilege for all of us to be at where we're at today. And one thing I want to emphasize is I often get a question talking about like talent versus hard work. So in UX, of course, talent really matters, especially if you be a designer, researcher, or content designer, right? You need to have a certain set of talent. So that is true. But when it comes to recruitment itself, hard work wins every time, right? Think about it like this. You can be the best designer in the world, but let's say you don't apply to any jobs and a recruiter reaches out to you every day, but you never even respond to their emails, right? Then of course you're not going to get a job. So there's a lot of grinding, so to say, in recruitment, especially for your first job. So you may need to apply to 100, 200, or 300 jobs, right, in your first year. And that's what I did. That's what a lot of us coaches did. So there is that part of the process that requires hard work. So that is not something we can help you with, right? If you don't want to put in the time to succeed, that is something that if we feel like it's the case, we will talk to you personally. And right now we have about 100 members on our Slack yet. So Shanri and I manage those closely. Like I said, we're not trying to make money off your membership. So if we realize you're not being engaged, you're not actively trying to learn, we will talk to you to see if it's a good fit for you to stay as a member. And if we realize you're not coming to any classes, you're not putting in any time, we may just remove you from our membership because that way the coaches know who to spend more time with, right? So stay active and then make sure you're putting in the hard work. And finally, I just want to emphasize everyone here at UXGO is at a different part of their journey. Some of you are doing masters, some of you are doing undergrad, some of you are transitioning industries, but you are exactly where you need to be, right? Don't compare with anyone. One thing I write in my articles a lot is your career track is is an infinite game, right? So in game theory, there's the idea of infinite game versus finite game. So in an infinite game, you only lose when you quit, right? So this isn't like a game of basketball or football where there are clear winners or losers. So always remember, whatever you have right now, that's always something you can take to your advantage and build towards your goal. So don't ever feel like because you see other peers around you being more successful in whatever terms you think, let that affect you, right? So always focus on yourself. So that wraps it up. I know a lot of people have to drop now, so thanks for joining our kickoff. I will stay on here for just a few extra minutes. So if anyone wants to do Q&A, reach out to me. So thank you again for all the coaches for joining, and thank you all for all the members for attending. Any questions? And yes, please join tomorrow's resume course if that's going to be beneficial. Sounds like we're good. So thank you so much, everyone. Hope to meet all of you a lot more and reach out to the coach. Thank you.